Welcome to the Jumpstart Your Arthritis Adventure Challenge. I am so excited to have you joining me today. Odds are you are here because you are not where you want to be. And from what I was just reading in the chat, we have people who are looking to regain strength, regain balance, find pain relief, open up the doors to activities like hiking and even just simply going up and down the stairs, walking longer distances. And right now, before we even get started, I want you to do something for me. I want you to picture one thing that you would love to do. Whether it's walking up the stairs, going somewhere specific, maybe in a family member's home or something like that, walking around your neighborhood, doing a certain mile hike, whatever that is, I want you to picture that right now. And I want you to actually imagine yourself doing that. I don't care if you never would ever imagine you would do it again. I don't care if right now you have so many doubts saying, wow, I don't think I will ever be able to do that. My pain is so bad. I haven't been able to do this in years. I want you to imagine how good that would feel. And now in this challenge, think about your opening the door to being able to achieve that. Because the number one thing I want you to glean from today and from the next 3 days is the possibility of this journey, the possibility to doing what you just imagined. Way too often people are told to think small because they have arthritis. Only walk for exercise. You'll never be able to do high impact exercise again. You should just probably avoid the stairs. You'll never be able to squat again. Avoid this, avoid that. You can't do this, you can't do that. Instead, we're flipping that on its head today. And I want to show you that you can actually do things. You can do this. And we are going to open up the world of possibilities. Now, I am going to show you tips and tricks along the way in this workout. Whether you've never met me before or you've been following me on any sort of social media, the primary goal of this challenge and of Keep the Adventure Alive is truly to do that. Keep your adventure alive, because too many people out there are trying to squash that. Not today, okay? The goal for this is to reignite your hope. I want you to walk away from today and the next couple of days thinking, wow, I can actually do this, okay? So I would like you to grab a chair. We are going to spend this entire workout in a seated position. Now, whether you have a lot of exercise experience or you're just starting out, no matter where you're at on that journey, it is so important to go back to the basics. Not every exercise, not every workout has to be super challenging in order to be effective. I want you to come into this with an open mind. I don't care if it feels easy. That's okay. That's the goal. The goal of this is to make your joints feel good. Okay, we are leaving today feeling better than when you started. Exercise should not increase pain significantly, and if it does, we're doing the wrong things. So, go ahead and have a seat in your chair. I want you to sit towards the edge of the chair, up nice and tall. What I want you to do first, we're going to start down at the ankles. I want you to lift your heels up and then lift your toes up. Lift your heels up and lift your toes up. This is going to be a full body routine. And as you're going through this, I want you to think about the movements that make you feel good. Say, wow, this really makes my ankles feel good, or this really feels like my ankles need this. I want you to take note of those because these are movements that you can repeat throughout the day. Keep going here. I don't want you to hold your breath on any of these movements, okay? Make sure you're breathing through this. We're just going to do 3 more here. 2. And last one. Excellent work. Now, this next one, we're going to start to lubricate those knees. I want you to move one leg out and then the other. Notice I'm just putting my foot on the ground. If you are not wearing shoes and you can slide your foot out easily, you can also do that. Now, if you want to make this harder, you can actually just go into a kick. There are so many ways to make movements easier and harder. I don't want you to feel discouraged. Having to modify is not a sign of weakness. Having to modify is being aware of your body and giving it what it needs. Who cares if you can't do the same things you've done 10 years ago? We're starting now, and you have to meet your body where it's at right now. And that's okay. You can get there. It's just not ready for it yet. Let's do 4 more here. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Excellent work. Next, what I would like you to do is you're just going to first raise one arm and then the other. You're just going to raise it up overhead. Be mindful of where your posture is. I don't want you to be super arched through here. If you can't go all the way up, that's okay. You're just going to reach straight out in front of you. We're going to add another movement to this once we get going. And that movement is a march. And what we're going to do is opposite arm, opposite leg, march. So I'm reaching either my arm straight up or straight out and lifting that opposite leg. Now I know marching can be difficult if you have hip arthritis. So here's what you're going to do. You're just going to raise up onto your toe, just like we just did in the previous movement. You're just going to raise up on your toe. If you can, I'd like you to actually lift the leg, but if it's painful, we're not pushing into that today. And that's one of the biggest things that is kind of an aha moment for a lot of people is, if I just push through this pain, it'll get better. Like walking, have you ever thought about that? If I just keep going, even though I have pain, it'll get better. That's a common belief for a lot of people. No pain, no gain. I mean, that's been kind of ingrained in us. But that's not the case here. If you are experiencing significant pain, say above a 5 out of 10, that is your joint saying, hey, pay attention to me. I don't like this right now. If you're below that and you feel a little bit of discomfort, that's okay. That's your joint saying, I'm not really too sure about this, but we can keep going. 4, 3, 2, and last one. Now, for this movement, what I'd like you to do is have your palms facing each other, and we're going to go into a row. So straight back behind you, and then come forward. Straight back behind you, and then come forward. Row those arms back. Find that relaxation. When you are dealing with pain, especially pain for a majority of the day, or you've been dealing with pain for 5, 10 years, it can be hard to relax. Your body's constantly on overdrive. But movement can be so incredibly powerful. And so one of my challenges for you today is to choose a couple of these movements and complete them at least one more time today. 3, 2, and last one. Excellent. Now what I'd like you to do is straighten your right leg. As straight as you can get it. Doesn't matter if you can't get it all the way straight. What I'd like you to do now is think about squeezing your thigh muscle and pushing down. And relax. And then you're going to squeeze your thigh muscle and then relax. Squeeze your thigh muscle and then relax. One way to make this more challenging is to lift your leg and squeeze your thigh, keeping it straight. But if you're not there yet, that is okay. Let's do 3 more and we'll switch to the other side. 2, and last one. Now I want you to bring the other leg out. Push that knee down. Try to get it as straight as you can and then come up. Just go as far as you feel comfortable with today, as far as your body is giving you today. If your knee's not feeling it today, just really work on getting it just as far as you can. Make sure you're breathing. Check in with your Posture, are you upright? Are you finding yourself slinking back? Check in with that. 4, 3, 2, and then last one. Now what I'd like you to do is you're just going to tap your heel forwards just like this and alternate. And we're going to stay here for a second. Here, you can increase the speed and start to elevate your heart rate. You can make this harder by just kicking straight out in front of you. You don't have to worry about getting your leg all the way straight. You can just kick it out in front of you or just slightly tap in front of you. Now, if we haven't met before, you might be wondering why I'm here helping people with osteoarthritis, why I have specialized in osteoarthritis and made it my mission to specifically help people with osteoarthritis. And when I was earlier on in my PT career, I was actually helping people through total knee and hip replacements. I want you to keep going. And through that, I realized after doing it for a few years, seeing hundreds and thousands of patients, was people feel like they need to deal with pain for 10 to 20 years before doing something about it. People are told that surgery is the only option. So many people had never tried movement because they were scared, had avoided movement because they were told it's going to make it worse. So many people were enduring this hard journey without options, without hope, without the support. And that can really take a toll on you. 3, 2, and 1. Now we're going to go into a punch just right out front. This, I want you to think about your core. I want you to pull your rib cage down slightly so it's not flared out like this, and just punch straight out in front of you. And how many of you feel like you are on that hard journey right now? That maybe you feel isolated. Maybe depression has started to set in. You're worried about the future. You're feeling stressed. You're feeling anxious because you have so many things to do and your pain dictates how many errands you can run during the day. You are not alone in that. And it finally took the last straw of seeing this woman who was active in her community, doing all sorts of things in her mid-60s, and she went in for a knee replacement. A couple years down the line, I see her and she's gone through 7 total knee revisions. And it had completely changed her life. Now, there absolutely is a time and a place for surgery. And if you're joining us after a total knee or hip replacement or another surgery, all of these things apply to you as far as the recovery aspect. But her life had completely uprooted, as you can imagine. 3, 2, and 1. Now what I want you to do is you're going to have palms facing each other. You're going to open up your arms and then come back. Palms facing each other, open up your arms and then come back. This is not how she imagined her recovery to go. She went from being independent to living with a family member, not being able to drive. But the thing of it is she didn't know there were other options. When I went and saw her as a physical therapist, that was one of the first times she had seen a physical therapist. One of the first times that she had understood or been told that exercise can actually be helpful. Isn't that crazy? Have any of you gone through that? Maybe have been scared to do movement. And that, when I realized that, I started to think, how can I get there sooner? Because me seeing her after 7 revisions is too late. How can I get there sooner? How can I get to you sooner? So we can avoid these complications as much as we can. Of course, there are some things that are out of our control. Let's go 3, 2, and 1. Excellent work. We are going back down to those ankles. We are lifting up and then trying to lift those toes up as high as you can. To challenge knee bending a little bit, what I'd like you to try to do is move your heel back towards your chair as far as you can. Then you're going to lift and then lift your toes. The toes are going to be harder to lift in this position, but what we're really challenging is knee bending. So I got to thinking, I dived deep into the research and started to create a framework. Research shows that conservative measures, meaning exercise, basically non-surgical interventions, can be so incredibly powerful for osteoarthritis. Now, of course, it's not perfect, but research shows it is absolutely 100% worth a try for around 6 months, and that's with consistency before considering surgery. So I started working with patients. We moved here to Utah, and I started working with patients who had osteoarthritis. Knee osteoarthritis, degenerative disc disease, back pain, back spasms, hip arthritis, hip pain. And I started to realize time and time again that this framework can work. This can come from feeling stiff, not being able to get around your house, not being able to go up and down the stairs. 3, 2, 1. Bring those arms back into that row. This can work. One patient in particular came to me because she was having knee osteoarthritis, and she essentially told me that when she heard she had a diagnosis of knee osteoarthritis, she felt like it was a death sentence. Have you ever felt like that before? Maybe you went in for some joint pain. Oh, I'd just like to figure out what this is. And all of a sudden you're told you have osteoarthritis. And it's like, oh my goodness, society makes us think that this is a condition that only affects older people. But it's not the case. The more we learn about it, the more quickly you can diagnose it. She was having a hard time walking around her house, having a hard time sleeping at night without pain waking her up. 3, 2, and 1. Go ahead and take that leg out one more time, and we're going to focus on straightening it and bending it. How many of you get woken up at night because of pain? How many of you have a hard time getting up maybe the 1 or 2 steps that are inside of your house or more steps? You dread the stairs. You dread running errands because you're going to pay for it later. Well, that's the situation she was in. She was in her mid-40s. Living out here in Utah, of course, we're very close to the mountains. You're pushing that leg straight. And she wanted to hike. She wanted to backpack. She wanted to camp. But with this knee arthritis, she felt that that was impossible, that was so far out of reach. We started working together through this framework, and she was able to not only go hiking again, but she was able to actually keep up. Because that was one of the things, I think I could go hiking again now that we've started working through this, but I don't want to feel like a burden. I don't want to feel like my friends just have to constantly wait for me. She messaged me when she got back and said, I actually was able to keep up and able to stay in the front. Then another man I was seeing who was having degenerative disc disease, back spasms. 3, 2, 1, switch sides. Through this framework, he was able to go bowling again. He was able to go golfing again. Even when that rotation really set off his back spasm, he wasn't dealing with back spasms anymore. But it's more than just movement. This framework first is understanding what is causing your pain and what your pain means. Has anyone sat down and told you, this pain is okay, this type of pain is not? This type of pain is okay to continue to push through. This type of pain is saying, we should probably stop or modify the activity. 3, 2, 1. Go ahead and bend your knees back. And what I'd like you to do is you're going to open up one knee and then the other. Open up one knee and then the other. A lot of times if you have hip arthritis, this can be a little bit painful. So what I'd like you to do is just try to open up your knee as much as you can, keeping your knee in line with your foot so we're not coming outside like this. How many people have sat down to you and told you that pain is a way that your body communicates with you? It doesn't always mean damage. It doesn't always mean your joint is getting worse. It doesn't always mean something negative. Pain is a way that your body communicates with you. That's why I mentioned in the beginning, if you're having significant pain, that's your body sending you a message saying, Please stop doing this, or let's modify this. I am not ready for this yet. But if you have a level of discomfort, a dull pain, again, that's your body saying, I'm not too sure about this. Maybe we haven't done this in a while, especially if it's something new. But we can keep going. We don't necessarily need to stop right now. Add in the arms. I'm opening up my arms, palms facing out as I step out. Has anyone told you that food can play a big part in inflammation, and inflammation can actually dictate your arthritis pain? Unfortunately, this is a huge part that's missed when seeing a healthcare professional, the articles online, hearing from family and friends. But it's one of the most important things. Everybody's pain is triggered by something different. Whether it's overactivity, not enough activity. 3, 2, and 1. We're going right back to those punches. Check in with your posture. Where are you at? Make sure you're not holding your breath. If you want to make this more challenging, you can add in that opposite arm heel tap. Think about speed on this one. Try to increase the speed. Turn up the notch a little bit on how quickly you're moving, if your body's allowing you that today. So often people are led to believe that just movement or just doing too many sports when you were younger is the cause of your pain. Some people it's stress. Some people it's the foods they're eating. Some people it's the lack of sleep. And the next step in this, after you understand where your pain is coming from and what your pain is trying to tell you, then we prioritize. Meaning, if your pain is caused primarily from a lack of sleep and a lot of stress you've been dealing with lately, you prioritize that. Finding an outlet to release your stress, which a lot of times is gentle movement. Prioritizing sleep, maybe trying to go to bed earlier, whatever it may be. 3, 2, 1. Now what I'd like you to do is you're just going to reach overhead, shift to the side, and reach your arm over top of your head as far as you can go. We're just getting this side bending motion. But most of the time, when you go see someone for your pain, say I go in for knee pain, they're just looking at the knee. They might take an image, they might take an x-ray. And the thing of it is your image does not correlate with your direct pain. Meaning somebody could have very mild changes on their x-ray, but have very severe pain. Others could have very significant changes on the x-ray, but not experience much pain at all. And that's because of these factors that I just mentioned, what can increase inflammation. It's more than just lose weight. How many of you have been told that? Oh, just lose, 10, 20, 50, however many pounds or kilograms for those of you overseas. Just lose this certain amount of weight and you'll be better. This is also why sometimes people don't experience relief from surgery. Because if you still have some of those inflammatory components, you may not experience significant pain relief. So it's something to think about, considering what is increasing your pain. And tomorrow I'm going to give you an opportunity and an invitation to figure out and join me on this step-by-step process on finding what is increasing your pain. 3, 2, and 1. Excellent work. What I'd like you to do now is I want you to open up your fingers and then make a fist. Open up your fingers as wide as you can and make a fist. It doesn't matter if you don't have finger-hand arthritis. This is one movement that we don't do very often. And this is a full body approach. Once you understand where your pain is coming from, then you prioritize those 2 to 3 things. Then you commit. It's a lot easier to commit to something when you know why you're doing it and that it can bring you quicker results. A lot of times people are wasting their time on, say, sleep is one of your primary drivers, but you're trying all the hard exercise, you're trying, food certainly plays a big component, but you're focusing on the wrong things. You're trying all of these supplements, maybe you're getting injections, when you really should be focusing on sleep. A lot of people can deviate from their path. And my goal is to help you stay on that path to bring you results. Now, what I'd like you to do is just roll your shoulders back. Like I said, the main goal of this particular day, remember, we have 4 days. The main goal of today is to just feel relaxed, feel better than when you started. Remember, you're still thinking about those couple of movements you can do again during the day. It's a lot easier to commit to something when you know why you're doing it. If you're just trying a workout routine because it worked for a friend, or you're just trying, a supplement because your mom or your sister said, this works for pain. You're grabbing at all these straws, and it can be frustrating. Deviating from that path can be frustrating because you're spending all this time with no results. Once you're on the right path, lots of things can open up. We've had hundreds and thousands of people open up the doors to possibilities. 3, 2, 1. Now what I'd like you to do is you're going to do a neck circle, meaning you're just going to take your head around in one direction, nice and light, again, going with what your body is giving you today. A lot of times we forget about the other joints. Say you have knee arthritis, but you're dealing with neck stiffness. Or you don't give your neck a lot of attention, so then you start experiencing pain. That's why this full body approach is one of my go-tos and what a lot of the initial exercise routine looked like. People have been able to walk 20,000 steps at Disney World. I mean, think about right now, if you were to go to Disney World, are you dreading it? Are you worried that you're going to be paying for it later? Would you not even go? People have been able to get down and up from the floor. Yes, it's possible, and yes, you can kneel even with a knee replacement, but following the right steps, building the strength. Some people have been able to get back to hiking certain miles. So if a certain mile hike was your goal in the beginning, it's possible. Now what I'd like you to do is you're going to look up and down. Again, just going with what your body's giving you today. There are so many possibilities. Even just walking to your mailbox. I had somebody who said, I haven't been able to walk to my mailbox in months, but now I'm able to. Or I haven't been able to walk a certain distance, but now I'm able to. It's not always some grand, I can walk 28,000 steps in Amsterdam when I was thinking of scheduling knee surgery, although that is possible. For some people, it's literally just, I feel heard and I feel supported. I finally don't think about pain very first thing in the morning. I can finally think about something else. 3, 2, and 1. Now what I'd like you to do is you're just going to reach to one side and then take your eyes over your hand, and then you're going to reach to the other side. Follow with your head. Check in with your posture. Where are you at? Are you slinking back? Are you coming up? We are reaching the end here. I hope you're feeling good. Throughout the week, we're still going to be talking about how to open up those possibilities. But what I want you to feel like today is to say, you know what? I think it's actually possible to walk 2 miles, if that's what you thought about in the beginning. I think it's actually possible to get down on the floor with my grandkids and not feel like I'm not going to be able to get back up. Or to take a bath again, whatever it is. I want you to walk away today thinking, I can do this. The way you talk to yourself and the beliefs that you have can also play a huge role. saying constantly, I can't do this, I can't do this, everything hurts, will continue down a path of increased pain, increased inflammation, and we don't want that. You're going to switch today to think, I can do this. Now, of course, it's not always butterflies and rainbows, and it's not always easy, but the only way that you see and can find relief is by taking action, which you have already done today. Let's go 3, 2, and 1, which you have already done today. You're already there. You're already starting this journey. What I'd like you to do is round your back here, and then you're going to arch your back forwards. Round your back and arch your back. Get some blood flow through the spine, through those muscles, especially if you are dealing with back pain, back stiffness, if you sit for a while. We're going to do one more movement after this, and we will end day 1. Without the right movement, pain will increase. Your cartilage and your joints need movement. Without understanding where your pain is coming from and what is triggering your pain, pain will increase. You'll be fighting a constant battle. How many of you feel like you're in a constant battle right now? You're not alone. I speak to hundreds and thousands of people with osteoarthritis, and so many people think they're the only one experiencing this, and that can be really isolating. You're not. 3, 2, and 1. Last movement here. I want you to bend your knees up so they're at this 90-degree angle if you can get there. I want you to take a deep breath in and then raise your arms up overhead as you take that deep breath in, and then you're going to exhale. We're going to do 3 more. Inhale, thinking to yourself, I can do this. I have finally found hope. There are so many things that are possible for me, but I need to keep going. I need to be consistent, because if I don't take action right now, I'm going to be stuck. We're going to do 2 more here. If I don't take action right now and become consistent and commit myself, I'm going to continue to feel stuck. 1 more. I have already taken action today, and this is just the start of my journey. You've made it through day 1. Now, like I said, day 1 is for that relaxation, to really start to build some confidence in your body to say, I can do this. If we started out with some hard standing and balance and started with higher level things, it'll lead to frustration, stress, anxiety, things we don't want to increase. But again, the goal is to feel better, not worse afterwards. Because I want you to feel ready for day 2. Because guess what? We are going to be increasing the difficulty each and every day for these next 4 days. Tomorrow, I'm going to be giving you an exclusive invitation on how to get started. Because if you're thinking right now, wow, this sounds amazing. How can I make these things possible? How can I understand my pain? How can I prioritize? And how can I actually commit myself to this journey? I'll tell you that tomorrow. Now, this invitation is exclusive, and so it's only for people inside of this challenge. It's not too late to join if you want to invite friends or family. But I want to give you a congratulations for showing up today. I know it's not easy. You may be experiencing pain. Maybe you didn't sleep very well last night, whatever it may be, but you showed up. There are a lot of people out there right now with osteoarthritis who didn't show up. But you showed up today, meaning you are ready to get started. You are ready to make a change. Thank you so much for joining me on this, and I cannot wait to see you same place tomorrow.